Sup guys, Christos here, and boy oh boy, last night Coinbase reported their Q3 earnings, which included a massive revenue miss, causing the stock to crash up to 13% during after hours trading. And in today's video, I am going to go through all of those numbers. I'm also going to talk about the actual reason why I think they missed revenue when everyone, including myself, expected them to completely smash it out of the park this quarter. And then finally, I'm going to be talking about whether I am buying or selling this stock today. So having said that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you like this kind of content. Drop this video a like down below if you are feeling generous, and let's jump straight into it. Okay, so let's go over some of these figures from last night. And let's start off with the earnings, which actually came in at $1.62 a share, which some are classing as a beat and some are not. However, the big one that we all were looking for was that revenue number, which came in at a pretty big miss of 1.31 billion, missing targets by roughly 270 million. Monthly transacting users came in at 7.4 million, which is 16% down from the previous quarter, which naturally led to trading volume coming in at 29% lower than Q2 at 327 billion. So they were the main numbers that everyone was looking at in this earnings call. Now, there is one more thing that I do want to point out on these results, and that is the actual year-on-year growth, which I think is still absolutely insane. If we just take a look at the balance sheet right now, so far for 2021, after 3 quarters, we can see the company has now done roughly $5.3 billion in revenue, when compared to the previous year of 692 million is a ridiculous year-over-year growth. And when we take a look at the Q3 comparisons on the left-hand side of the sheet here, we can actually see when comparing it to 2022 Q3 of 315 million to do 1.3 billion in that same time period is over 300% growth year on year, which is just absolutely insane. I mean, it was only a week ago where I sat in this exact same seat talking about how I was content with DraftKings' 60% year-on-year growth. Well, this makes that look tiny. But just taking a look at the earnings from an overview point of view, I want to say that we matched in terms of earnings per share. I don't think there was anything special there. We definitely missed on revenue, and then both our monthly transacting users were down and also our monthly transactions were down as well. Now, in terms of how the stock price has reacted to this, of course, I said at the start of the video, in the after hours, straight after the earnings call, the stock was down roughly 13%. Just taking a look at the pre-market hours right now, we have seen a slight improvement with the stock being down around 9%. So it's fighting back a little bit, but I can very much see a volatile day for Coinbase stock today, and I think I could probably see it going down a little bit more on the back of this. But having said that, I am no expert at judging what the price is going to do throughout the trading day, especially after earnings. If I was, I would have made a lot more money than what I currently have in the stock market. But there you go, we are currently 9% roughly down going into the opening bell. We're roughly an hour and 45 minutes away from that, so it'd be really interesting to see what actually happens when the stock market opens today. And when you're watching this video, you will probably already have a good idea on what has happened. Okay, so let's talk about this big revenue miss and why people are selling out, and also why I think this is all happening. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'm going to be completely honest. With crypto going up the way it has over the past couple of months, with the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum both hitting new all-time highs, I honestly thought that beating revenue numbers was simply just going to be a given. In fact, I was so confident to the point that I was actually hoping that revenue beat by such a long way, because I was actually scared that a small beat would actually cause the stock price to crash the way that it actually has today, the way that this market has been moving recently during earnings season. So to see a miss last night, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit shocked. But what do I think actually caused this revenue miss? Well, the thing most people will likely be saying is of course the obvious, and that is people are starting to leave Coinbase as a platform for an alternative option, and with Coinbase relying solely on transaction fees at the moment, this was going to drop as more people left the platform. And if we were to actually take a look at the monthly transacting users of 7.4 billion being down 16% from the previous quarter, and the trading volume of 327 billion being down 29%, it would really spell out that users leaving the platform would be the reason. However, after spending some time looking at everything, I actually don't think this is the case at all. And let's actually start by talking about this by looking at this chart right here that was given in the letter to the investors. And as you can see, we have the numbers that I just spoke about with the users and transactions both down. But right below that, one thing that really stood out to me is the current assets held on the platform. And as you can see for Q3, it was reported that the total users of Coinbase held a total of $255 billion worth of different cryptocurrencies in their Coinbase accounts. And when we compare this to the previous quarter of $180 billion worth of assets held on the platform and the quarter before that of $223 billion, this means that this quarter is the record quarter for the amount of assets in dollars held on the Coinbase platform. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but what this actually reads to me is that people are not in fact leaving Coinbase. In fact, people are simply just buying their crypto and they're not trading it, they're just simply holding on to it. However, of course, this still isn't fantastic news for investors of Coinbase, as we know that the main way that Coinbase makes money is through their transaction fees. So we do need trading activity. But the main point I'm trying to make here is that despite fierce competition, I don't actually think people are actually leaving the platform for other alternatives. And if you ask me, having a period where people are not buying and selling as often is a much better problem to have than actually leaving your platform. I actually know this from my own experience because one of my previous jobs was being the retention manager for customers at a business. And one thing that I learned was the second that that customer left your service, it was almost impossible to get them back in the short term. So having the issue of people not spending enough money on the platform is a better issue to have than people actually leaving the service. Another chart that I found right here that backs this point up a little bit more is this 6-month price and volume chart for Bitcoin in general. So we're not just talking about Coinbase here. And if we take a look at the months of July, August, and September, we can see considerably lower trading volumes to those back in the months of May and June time. The other interesting thing that is worth pointing out here is that during these past months, we have of course seen the price of Bitcoin shoot to those all-time highs, whilst trading volume has been quite lower than the previous months. And this just backs up my point even more about people holding on to Bitcoin, potentially buying more, but not really trading in and out of the currency. Oh, and finally, on this chart, I want to just highlight the price action. Look at this trading volume back in Q2, where we saw those record revenue numbers for Coinbase. As you can see, the trading volumes were completely through the roof, but Bitcoin's price was tumbling down. And for me, once again, this is a reminder to why I actually personally invest into Coinbase, because realistically, it doesn't matter about the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't matter about the price of Ethereum. It doesn't matter about the price of any cryptocurrencies. Either way, as long as people are buying and selling and the trading volumes are high, Coinbase is going to be making more money. Okay, so just bringing all of this back around full circle. Yes, I am disappointed with the missed revenue estimated. And yes, when I first saw the numbers after having such high expectations, I did think, how on earth has this actually happened? Simply because of the surge of crypto over the past couple months or so. But realistically, I don't think it's a U-turn in terms of the growth for Coinbase. I think it's just part of the parcel of being a crypto exchange that currently has to rely heavily on volatility. Now, I'm not sure what I've just spoken about was obvious to you or not, but if it wasn't, I hope it might have given you a little bit of a different perspective. But let's now actually talk about what I'm going to be doing with my investment into this company in the short term. Okay, cool. So as you can see right here, I currently have a cost basis of $250 for this stock, meaning despite today's drop, and I'm pretty sure anything that goes on throughout the trading day, I think I'm still going to be sitting comfortably in profit. And this is all because of the run up we've had over the past couple of weeks. So having said that, when it comes to deciding whether or not I am going to buy or sell this stock today, the answer is I'm most likely going to do nothing. Now, I know a drop of 9% currently in the pre-market is a large drop, and as a long-term investor, an opportunity to get some of this stock at a discount is potentially a good idea. But for me, I've seen this stock gain so much momentum in the past couple of months. So realistically for me, I think I need to see a little bit more of a sell-off when taking a look at my cost basis. I've set myself a target is that if this company does get to around $300, then I will definitely look at buying some more of this stock. But right now, I'm not really too panicked, and there are some other opportunities in the other companies I'm investing into that I'm really looking at the moment. But hey, as I always say, I am no expert at all. I'm simply just a guy sat in his office trying to make sense of these numbers. I could be completely spot on, or I could completely misunderstand the whole thing, and I could be completely wrong. Either way, always do your own research before investing, and do not take this as financial advice. But having said that, drop a like on this video if it did give you a new perspective, and if you did find any value from it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, join my free Discord group. It's called the Investors Lounge, where we will likely be talking all things Coinbase today with everything that is going on. But having said that, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.